Welcome. Today we're going to talk about relating fractions in decimals. So starting with our first model, we have a model that's divided into 10 equal parts or tenths. We notice that 7 of those parts are shaded. So this fraction shows 7 tenths. We read this as 7 tenths, and we write the decimal in the same way. We want to make sure our 7 is in the tenths place, so 0.7. And we read it 7 tenths. We could also add a 0 in the hundredths place without changing the value. So we could read it as 7 tenths or 70 hundredths. The value is the same, we just read it differently. Let me show you how that works. So here's our model of 7 tenths. Let's change it into hundredths. So I'm going to divide this into 100 equal parts. So now 70 hundredths are shaded in. Notice they're the same amount, 7 tenths and 70 hundredths, we just read them differently. Here's a model that is also divided into 100 equal parts or hundredths. We have one part that is shaded, so this fraction shows 1/100th or 1/100th. We're going to write our decimal the same way. So 1 goes in the hundredths place. We fill in the rest with zeros, so 0.01 or 1/100th. Here's another model divided into 100 equal parts or hundredths. 32 of those parts are shaded. So this shows the fraction 32 hundredths. We write the decimal the same way. By putting 32 so that it ends in the hundredths place. Which decimal does this model represent? Let's check your answer. So I'm going to think there are 20 shaded out of 100 or 20 hundredths. So I'm going to put my 20 in the hundredths place so that it ends in the hundredths place. But this is not an answer choice, so I'm going to have to try something else. Each group of 10 equals 1/10. So I just changed those 10 into a tenth. So now I have 2 tenths. If I put a 2 in the tenths place, 0.2, choice A was the correct answer. Choice B shows 2 hundredths, choice C is 20, and choice D is 2. Which decimal does this model represent? Let's check your answer. So I'm going to think there are 27 shaded out of 100 or 27 hundredths. So I'm going to place my 27 here. So I'm looking for 0.27. And I see that it is choice C, 27 hundredths. Which of these does not belong? Our picture shows 38 hundredths. Our fraction here shows 38 hundredths. And here's 38 hundredths as a decimal. The circled one shows 3 wholes in 8 tenths, or 3 8/10. Write a decimal to represent this fraction. Our fraction is 8 tenths, so we want to make sure we put 8 in the tenths place, so 0.8. Write a fraction to represent, write a decimal to represent this fraction. Our fraction is 4 hundredths, so this time we want to make sure we put 4 in the hundredths place. This is our tenths, and this is our hundredths.